Erba, this was their home. But now they're frozen in Cocoon's crystal pillar, never to return. They slept for centuries. And then they awoke again, in our time. Though they came from Grand Pulse, they became Cocoon's saviors.
So you're saying they traveled through time to save the future?
Yeah, I guess they did in a way. It looks like an oracle drive.
Yeah.
Stop.
Sarah!
Lightning. Lightning.
Sarah, I'm sorry.
Hey, the apologies can wait. We got a wedding to plan, right? Right? Like, come on. What do you say? Lightning, I swear to you, I will make her happy.
I believe you.
My memories. They're real, aren't they? Who can they be? The prophecy. It's been changed.
But... that's impossible.
If you change the future, you change the past.
It keeps changing?
Change is the constant.
Caius.
I have seen you. I have seen you both.
Yule.
What? You mean Osiris?
I am not the Yule you know.
But...
You must understand, there are many Yules.
Caius...
Wait. I saw you. My sister was fighting you.
what are you doing here in this time?
I learned of your journey, leaping back and forth along the timeline. Yule has been watching everything you do.
No. She's been watching us?
Yes. I see you understand the significance of that. Then you must also understand that I am here for a reason. Your actions have necessitated the strictest sanctions.
Hey, hold on a second. What do you mean, sanctions?
I must protect the sanctity of the timeline.
Caius!
I can still fight.
Your time is short.
Time to get serious.
Follow the guns.
We need your help. It's our time now. Here. Time to go. We need your help.
Your time is follow the guns. So weak. You shall pay for your crimes in blood.
Sarah! like this, Caius. I am not going to fight you.
Times have changed. I'm not the Caius you once knew. To change history is a sin.
It's too late. The timeline has already changed.
But must we accept this, Yule?
If you change the future, you change the past. You can remold history as your heart desires.
Let's go now, before you are made to witness more. Come.
Yule.
Kupo? An artifact, Kupo!
What does Caius want?
No. That man, Caius. Who is he exactly? I've seen his face before, in my dream.
I thought I recognized him, but I don't think he's the man I used to know. He couldn't be here. Not in this time. She was the same. The same face, the same voice. But even so, she didn't know me at all.
You mean Yule?
Yes. Well, no questions?
Seems to me that if I ask, you'd have a hard time trying to answer. I know what it feels like, not being able to explain how you feel, so I won't ask.
Thanks, Sarah. We'll talk about it soon.
Sure. Lightning, Noel and I traveled to Erba. You wouldn't believe how much happened to us there. We found a prophecy that the seers of the Farseers had recorded. We saw a young girl called Yule, just like the seeress. And we met a man named Caius, the man you were fighting in my dream. I guess what worries me the most, though, is that Noel looks sad. Sadder than I've ever seen him. And there's something else, too. The strange thing that both Caius and Yule said about the past. If you change the future, you change the past. I'm afraid of what that might mean for us. When Noel and I solved the paradox, we changed the future. Does that mean the past of Hope and the others has also changed? Yule said that changing the future will also change the past. Is this what she meant? The eclipse doesn't happen because we solved the paradox in the future?
Maybe. But we can't be sure.
You know, that Caius guy seems to know a lot about what's going on. Could he be the one who caused the paradox and the eclipse?
No, he wants to protect the timeline, not change it.
It's a strange thing, trying to change history by yourself. This man, have you met him before? Do you know him?
A man called Caius. Taught me how to fight. But that was in a different time, a different place. The face and the name are the same, but...
Maybe he's using the gates, just like us. Trying to protect history.
Then he has a lot to answer for. The Caius I knew left us behind. Took off on his own. That was how I lost Yule.
Welcome home.
How did you...
Yule. Did you come through the gate too?
The one you met was a different Yule. A Yule from the future.
What?
So, you don't know me either.
I know about you. I've been watching you both.
You can see the future, can't you?
I can trace the timeline. I see the future and lead others along the correct path. I came here to confirm something I already know. You and I are the same.
What do you mean?
You, too, can show others the way.
Wait. I don't get it. How are we the same?
It looks like Yule lives in this time too.
Noel, are you okay?
Yeah, it was just so unexpected. Threw me for a loop.
She talked about tracing the timeline. Could she be the Cirrus from ancient Padra?
Padra collapsed centuries ago. She can't be the same person.
Then maybe a distant descendant? But we were always told that no one lived down here on Grand Pulse.
Well, you and your friends survived all right, didn't you? By helping each other out?
We journeyed through time, solved the paradox, and met two girls who looked exactly the same. And now, at last, we found our way back to Hope's Oracle Drive. He'll be waiting for us. Or perhaps he won't. Maybe after all this time, Hope has forgotten us.
The sun feels so amazing! Time for my feathers to soak up some of that good old vitamin D for extra fluff. Oh, Chocoboculina! Sorry, didn't see you there. Thank you for shopping here on this bright and sunny day. I think it's time to hit the beach, don't you?
In a world where the paradox was solved, the eclipse never darkened the sky in the first place. No one remembered that Noel and I had been here. But even so, Hope was there, waiting for us. Of course, his memories had changed. We had our 10-year reunion all over again, as if our last meeting had never happened. When we explained his memories had changed because the paradox had been dissolved, Hope believed us without question. And then...
I have something I want to show you.
It is lightning!
This is a recording of the future. We're unable to identify the location or circumstances. There is one thing we're sure about, however. And remember, we don't know what era this is. Lightning is alive in that place. In my memory, Lightning disappeared after the battle with Orphan, but she's living somewhere in the future.
So it's not just a dream, is it?
She's out there.
Then I'm going to find her.
Koopa Koopa?
And you will find her, Sarah. After all, you traveled through time and found me. Many years of research have finally borne fruit. It all began with the Oracle Drive. We excavated it from ruins many centuries old. Yet it recorded an image of Cocoon, supported on a pillar of crystal. It was an impossibility, an enigma. Impossible, but a reality nonetheless. This is when I learned what I must do.
Koopa?
If it was possible to journey through time and look into the future, then it must also be possible to travel backwards and change the past.
Right.
I wanted to change history, make things better. Not just bring Lightning back, but Vanille, and Fang, and my mother.
So that's what your research was about.
Kubu?
Chasing the impossible, you might say. But you've made me realize something. It's clear to me now we are not the only ones who are intervening in history.
Oh?
The past has already been changed. Sarah, you are the only one who remembers a time when Lightning survived the fall of Cocoon.
Yeah.
Director!
Caius.
What happened? Did the prophecy get rewritten?
Not necessarily rewritten. It could be the original prophecy restored as it once was. Perhaps a continuation of the first recording.
If this is showing us the future, then someday Cocoon will fall. Noel, you told me in your time Cocoon didn't exist like it does now.
Yeah. It came to ground long before I was born. After it happened, the whole world just fell apart pretty much.
But who made it fall? Could it have been Caius?
No. He couldn't do that.
When is Cocoon supposed to fall? How many years? Is it soon?
No. Not for a couple of centuries.
Oh, that's a long time from now. I mean, none of us will even be alive to see it.
But others will. Cocoon will fall into Grand Pulse. Imagine the catastrophe. Think how many lives will be destroyed.
Right. That's the future I lived in.
It doesn't have to happen. No, we can change the future. We can stop Cocoon from falling and make your world a better place.
Yeah, but how? You think you can go to the time when it falls and hold it up yourselves? Do you even have a gate to take you there?
Well,
It might not be necessary to travel to the specific time and place.
How so?
The future depends on what we do now, right? Yes, there is a chance Cocoon will fall, but we can start working now to prevent it from happening.
Right.
But what if you can't, Hope?
We can at least work to mitigate the damage. If we begin our research now, we have time. Then, should Cocoon indeed fall, we can help protect the planet and save the victims.
Okay, let's do it. We could try to solve things at the other end, in the future. While you start preparing in the here and now.
Yes, let's change the future.
If you change the future...
If you change the future, you change the past.
Sarah?
It's nothing. Hope, thank you for the help.
Time will separate us, but we'll share a common goal.
Hope dreamed of changing the past. The weight of history drove him forward. But now, he's turning to face the future. A future even more frightening than the past. Sarah, do you believe too? Do you believe in your own past?
Lightning was fighting in Valhalla. That's where I met her. And that's when she told me to come and find Sarah.
I see. Valhalla, otherwise known as the Unseen World.
I think Lightning wants us to fix the timeline. Put it back how it was. Maybe that's why she gave me the power to travel through time and control monsters.
She was unable to do anything on her own, so she turned to the one person she trusted more than anyone. Yes, it is possible, although the idea raises even more questions.
Listen, Hope. What are we supposed to do if we want to save the future?
The space-time is twisted and must be straightened. Find the largest paradox and resolve the contradictions. Tell me, Noel, looking back from the future, what was the most dramatic event in history?
The fall of Cocoon, no question. Wait. Do you think someone created a paradox to make that happen?
Assuming such a thing is possible, then yes, maybe. Again, hypothetically speaking, I wonder if the man that Lightning was fighting is involved.
If he is, we're in big trouble.
I shall try to avert the tragedy. Then, just maybe, you will have homes you can return to.
No. You know, I started this journey hoping to find my sister. But now, I want more. I want to save the future.
So do I, Sarah. So do I. Time to travel again.
Kupo! Find the gate and the key, Kupo!
Legend? Many years ago, there was a young girl who worshipped the seeress of Padra. With much training and dedication, the girl secured herself a position as one of the protectors of the seeress. But when war broke out in the city, the girl was fooled by the enemy and wound up betraying the one she set out to protect. Charged with treason, the girl faced severe punishment. She was turned into a Sith and was forced to wander the Yashas Massif for all of eternity. According to the legend, she's still there, waiting for someone to defeat her and help put her soul to rest. I don't know how much truth there is to that story, but if you ever spot a Sith in the ruins, you should do it justice and kill it. You'd be doing it a favor by putting it out of its misery. Set her free, I won't stop you. But remember, even though she used to be a human being, she's a monster now. Stay on your toes out there, or you'll end up losing your life.
Excuse me, I don't mean to take up too much of your time, but did you see some strange lights last night? Someone witnessed 3 stars falling from the sky. I thought it could be a meteorite of some sort, but there's no evidence of that anywhere. It's possible it burned up before it reached our atmosphere. If you see anything that looks out of place, please let me know. I'm counting on you. Come to me if you notice anything strange. By the way, the witnesses noticed something interesting about the stars. They said that all 3 of them were different colors. 3 different colored stars falling from the sky. It sounds like it could be connected to something quite mystical, don't you think?
No, we can change the future, can't we?
We can, and we will. Then we can go back to homes that we've made safe.
Lightning. Thanks to Hope, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. He told us that if we solve the paradox, we can save the future. Meanwhile, in his own way, and in his own time, Hope is working toward the same goal. Together, we can keep Cocoon safe. And if we do, then I know I'll be able to bring you home. I believe this with all my heart.
How many times must I see this?
Another detour?
It's easy to get lost when you leap across time, Kupo.
We can go back to the gate anytime. Let's take a breather.
Oh, thanks.
Say, Sarah. You remember when you told me that you saw lightning in me, in your dreams?
Kupo?
Yeah.
Are you still having them?
No. The last time I saw lightning was the night before we met. Although, I've had lots of dreams about what happened the next day.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
I was just curious.
All right. My turn. I want to know about Yule.
I don't know anything about either of the Yules you met.
What do you mean? She could be a time traveler, right? Just like you and me and Snow.
I don't think so. She's like a reincarnation. A new Yule born over and over. In each generation of the Farseers, a girl with the same face, the same power is born. That girl is always called Yule.
So you're saying every age we travel to, there's a different Yule waiting? A Yule from Erba and a Yule from Yasha's Massif.
But they're all different. And neither are the Yule I knew. Although it took me a long time to actually start believing it.
Kupo.
Noel, I've been thinking. If we keep traveling through time and resolving paradoxes and changing history, doesn't that mean the future you come from will change along with everything else?
Perhaps it'll become a future where I never existed.
Is that possible?
Sure it is. But it's okay if it does. There's too much sadness in my world. Your future. It'd be better if it never happened at all. Well, come on. Let's go. We've got a date with Lightning, remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kupo?
This throne. I remember it from my dream. This is where Lightning was praying to the goddess.
Is this what I think it is? You really found one! How did you get your hands on something like this? Would this be enough to compensate you for your trouble? You say you want to know why I'm paying this much for a piece of junk? You two popped out of that gate, didn't you? Well, in that case, I suppose you'll believe me if I tell you then. The reason I'm collecting things that can almost be classified as antiques is because I'm from the past. I'm a time traveler, just like you. I was thrown into the future by a paradox, and so far, I haven't been able to find my way back. But please don't tell anyone else about my situation. I love my life here, and I don't want anything to disrupt that. I even have a beautiful wife who adores me. Can you get to the bottom of the mystery of the gates? I don't want more people getting swallowed up by a paradox and finding themselves in a foreign time. I made the most of it, but I don't know if others will be able to do the same.
The power to influence the future. The power to alter destiny. Such an ability may, if one was not careful, change a person's fate for the worse. Such power was never meant for mortal man. There are none who possess the wisdom to wield it. Sarah, you must seek out your own answers as you waver at the edge of despair.
Wow. How do you build something like this?
A little bit at a time, I guess. It probably took a lot of people working together over decades, maybe even centuries, to make this city what it is now.
They had a vision for the future, and it grew from there, huh? You know what, Sarah? I used to think the only way to make a better future was to change something right away, in the here and now. But creating something for people to build on? That's not a bad idea. Right? Even if it can't be completed in one lifetime, it's still worth starting. If you believe that someone in the next generation will take up the same ideal, then the dream lives on.
That sounds like Hope's way.
I wish she could have seen it.
Yule, you mean? She's very special to you, isn't she?
She was, but I couldn't protect her. Oh. Huh? threat. I hope they're not talking about us.
The bots must see us as intruders.
That can't be good. We should look for a way to slip through.
This terminal's on. Shall we do some snooping?
Snoop away. We can't fight back if we don't know what we're facing.
Working on restoring the network. The database is being flooded with corrupt information.
Corrupt information? Is that a side effect of the paradox?
That's the current theory. At this rate, it won't be long before the entire network is infected.
Is there anything we can do to help?
There is. The paradox seems to be spreading from our topographical databanks. If we can replace this section with the correct data, maybe we can stop the corruption.
And we can help you do this?
Yes, you can. What we need is data from places that someone has physically visited. We need area maps that are 100% confirmed.
Oh, thinking about the sea makes me so sad. They used to be regular people, you know? They lived their lives just like you and me. Well, not exactly like me, of course, since I'm not human. I feel so blue. But I might feel better if you buy something. Thank you kindly. I hope my shop is helping people in some way, no matter how indirectly.
Not this way.
Or this? No, I think we're trapped.
I think you're right. All right, we give up. We won't fight anymore, so why don't you show yourself? Caius!
Pretend to capitulate and buy yourself time. It's not a bad strategy.
You've got no reason to fight me, Caius.
Wrong. You are the enemy. You are contradictions in the timeline. I have every reason to eliminate you. 200 years ago, you learned the forbidden history, and were entombed in that tower as a consequence. But now you stand before me alive and well once again. What can that be if not a paradox?
Towers and forbidden histories? What's he talking about? Could it be something from the future?
Could be. Maybe at some point we travel 200 years before this time and encounter Caius there. But I don't plan on letting him kill us.
There is no mistake. You are one and the same. A distortion or a contradiction.
Caius, this is unlike you. If we're in your way, why not just stop us yourself?
A fitting sacrifice was required for you to comprehend your transgressions. To that end, I enlisted some assistance.
Sarah!
Right.
Your very existence poisons the timeline and invites disaster.
He really is convinced we're the cause of this paradox, huh?
Vermin. If this tragedy is to come to an end, no trace of you can remain in this reality. You have learned the true history. I cannot let you escape.
True history? Which part was that?
He thinks we're his enemies because of something that happened in the past.
Guess we fight.
Time to get serious.
another pack. You, no! Get away from her! Yule! Are you okay? No!
No! New formation! Get him!
You will...
No! Look out!
I've got it! You'll lie!
I saw death. If I were to live, it would bring contradiction to the timeline.
But why?
It's because of us. Just like Kaya said, we're causing a paradox to occur. Because of that, Yule has to... She has to...
Caius? Caius is not here.
You mean he's not here in the city?
Yule, hold on, please!
No, I am not the Yule you once knew. But thank you.
For the love of Etro, don't thank me. An artifact from Yule.
She's showing us the way.
Yeah.
Poopa.
Yule saw everything, you realize that? She knew exactly what would happen today. There was never a time she didn't.
But even so, she didn't try to avoid her fate.
It's the law of the Farseers. Seers must not change history to save themselves. Because if they do, they can doom thousands of others to a worse fate instead. How about it? Ready for the truth?
The law of the Farseers. It's a terrible thing to live by. Because to obey it means someone has to sacrifice themselves. Lightning, tell me, is there no way for us to save everybody? Noel and I are traveling through these gates because we believe we can change our fate. But even as we do, I can't forget what Yule said. She said Caius isn't in this city. But if that's true, who was it that we met here?